Faulkner area. Let's get to that safe location right now. If you're in a mobile home watching me, you need to get to a safer building. A mobile home will not ride out this storm. And as of now, it's a little bit clear on 15, but it won't be for long. We've got to get you to a solid structure. If you're inside a home that has a lot of glass windows, get away from those. Get into the interior part of your home, in a hallway, perhaps a bathroom, somewhere where you can close the door and keep any debris from coming through and making an impact. If you're just now joining us, we've got a brand new tornado warning here in North Mississippi that is closing in on the Faulkner area in between Faulkner and Ripley as we're going into the 7 o'clock hour. So if you're just now tuning in to Fox 13 for the 7 p.m. show, I apologize that we are having to interrupt, but our commitment is to keeping all of our viewers safe in a sense of in the occasion, though, of a storm coming through here, of a tornado warning, anything else that can impact your health, your family, your property, and that's what's occurring in North Mississippi. Looking at very strong rotation here. When you're seeing this red and green, you probably have come across this over the years as you've watched weather coverage. What you're seeing is Doppler Radar showing us wind indicators, and the green is the portion of the storm, the precipitation that is moving towards the radar. The red is what's moving away from the radar, and that is giving us an indication that things are starting to rotate. You saw that last sweep, just got it even closer to that Faulkner area, and so we're talking about County Road 500 and 200, but primarily Highway 15 is headed straight towards you in between Faulkner and Ripley. I would stay off the roads. I would make sure I'm in that safe spot, and I would get that phone out and start contacting those friends and family members who may be in this area. Let me broaden this out a bit and show you where else this is going to be heading here very soon. Kossuth is on the path right now. You can see there. Walnut a little bit more to the north. You've got a few minutes. Let's see if we can get any other markers here. This is just north of Jumpertown. So there's that Faulkner-Ripley highway, and this is our zone. We're getting a little bit of a notch, it looks like, in this pocket. No hail, not a lot of lightning, but we are seeing that rotation begin, and so I want to make sure that everybody in these two communities and anywhere close by is motivated enough to get into a safe location. We are hopeful that this tornado does not touch the ground, but the threat is there, the threat is real, and it's moving past. All right, so once again, starting to see rotation here in North Mississippi, and that has kicked off this tornado warning just out of the Ripley-Faulkner region that is angling right now towards Kossuth, and if it stays together, Corinth, you would be in its path as well, and maybe Raymer a little farther down the road. Let's put this back into our velocity mode, and you can see that clear indicator. Man, it just comes together right there. It just sweeps in. And so what you're seeing is as that storm came past Potts Camp, just north of Hickory Flat and Blue Mountain, it started to get that rotation. I mean, it really is looking very strong right now. It's a very strong indicator that we've got some rotation trying to appear. We'll be checking with some of our spotters in a bit to see if we've got any reports of anything happening, but we know that once that sun goes down, things get awfully dangerous because we can't see the danger coming at us. We can't see the hazard. We have to rely on our TV signals, our warnings here, as well as on your smartphones. And again, you reaching out to your family and friends who may be in this area and saying, hey, I don't know if you're aware, but we've got some really ugly weather cranking up right now. So if you're just now joining us, this is a very strong tornado signature that is just about to cross over Highway 15 in between Faulkner and Ripley in North Mississippi. We have been watching and tracking these storms all afternoon long. They have been pretty vibrant. They've had a lot of energy to them. We have not had to face much in the way of rotation so far, even though we had a tornado watch stay active. And interestingly enough, this tornado warning is above the tornado watch zone. We see that all the time here in Memphis and the Fox 13 viewing area, where our tornado warnings can often come out of the tornado watch box, the tornado watch zones that we see filled in with red. And that's the case right now. We're actually watching this get tightened up just a little bit. But if you're inside this red polygon, that's sort of called the danger zone as this is progressing forward. This is the launch pad. It is moving in this direction, and it gives you a little bit of a sort of a buffer zone there of what to expect. But what that means is Faulkner and Ripley, get in that safe spot right now. Stay off the roads. Unless you're in a mobile home, we've got to get you somewhere safer than that. Heads up to Walnut, Kossuth, and Corinth. You are going to potentially be in the path of this. starting to see some indicators here that we might have some debris with this as well. This is called the coefficient, and I mean, you know, looking at this, we might be looking at something being picked up into the atmosphere from this system, and that means it may be actually on the ground. Let's take this as serious as we can, friends. A very strong indicator that we've got a very strong tornado in between Faulkner and Ripley, trying to cross over Highway 15 right now here in North Mississippi. This is inside Tippah County. It's exiting Benton. It's trying to make its way on towards Alcorn region, just south of McNary. And it is a very strong indicator. You can see as it's going past, there's South Main Street in Ripley, and it is going right up across 15 right now towards County Road 200, directly in between Ripley and Faulkner, and moving on to the east pretty quickly now as well. Let me see if I can get some more information here on the speed, and we'll get some more specifics associated with this. It's moving east at 50 miles per hour. That's pretty fast. We often see 35 to 45, so 50 is starting to crank it up a bit. We are seeing the indication for rotation. And again, we were looking at the correlation. It's called the correlation coefficient. It's a very, not a great, it's a very unwieldy term, but what it basically does is looks at what type of organism or atmospheric piece of material we're looking at, and they all get coded different. So what you're looking at right now is wind speeds in red and green, and we are showing strong signs that we've got rotation now crossing over 15 in between, excuse me, the Faulkner and Ripley area. Let's go back to our radar for just a second. Again, I don't want to discount the heavy downpours associated with this. We have watched torrential rain today, causing all kinds of flooding issues. I was speaking with a good friend who works and owns Munford Tire, who was out and by 10 o'clock in the morning had to pull over 3 times to get people out of ditches from running on ponding and skidding off the roadways. We're looking at the same situation right now. Heavy downpours between Walnut and Ripley. Just everything you're seeing in dark red is heavy precipitation, a lot of rainfall. We're more concerned about the spin. We're more concerned about that rotation process, and let's look at that again. Everything you're seeing there in the green to red is indicating a pretty strong, what they call a coupling or rotation appearing, and it is again now right in between Faulkner and Ripley. And just to kind of give you a sense of the space we're looking at here, let me put a bit of a measurement here between Faulkner and Ripley. That's about 7.8 miles of highway. So right about the 3 to 4 mile mark just south of Faulkner is where this is situated. It's moving towards County Road. I believe that's 200, moving to the east. And as I mentioned earlier, it's moving at around 50 miles per hour. Excuse me. So it's moving pretty quickly. And let's give you a sense here of where it's going to be next. It's going to try to make its way here pretty quickly towards Kossuth. Let's see how far away you are. Less than 20 minutes. Less than 20 minutes right now till it gets to the Kossuth area. And if it stays on track, it will be in Corinth in just about a half hour. All right, so Kossuth to Corinth, let's say 15 minutes to a half hour lead time on this as it's making its way towards you. It looks like it's going to try to go right up Interstate 4 where it becomes 2. And it is, again, continuing to show some pretty impressive indicators here that we've got a tornado, some strong winds trying to rotate in that region, friends. Again, if you're just now joining us, we've got a tornado warning for North Mississippi. This is inside Tippah County, just south of Walnut. Okay, there's the Walnut marker, and this area in between Faulkner and Ripley, where we're seeing this very tight coupling of green and red, is indicating rotation in the atmosphere, and we were looking at the possibility that we're also seeing some debris. Thank you very much, Ish. You can sit right there, my friend. Looking at the chance that we could have some debris in this region, which is an indicator that that tornado may have touched the ground and is picking up dirt, whatever else is on the ground in that place. We don't want it to be anything more substantial like somebody's home, but we want to make sure we're getting the word out. If you know someone who lives in this area, reach out to them. Pick up the phone, give them a call and say, hey, just so you are aware, you've got a tornado warning, and this one is looking like it may have some real strength to it and is possibly causing some impact. I'm going to go back to that correlation coefficient for just a moment. Okay, so we've lost what looked to be a debris ball that has calmed down a bit, but we'll continue to monitor that. So earlier you saw that indication. There was a little bit of a bloom there, an indicator that perhaps we had something happening on the ground. We are still seeing the signs that it is still there in place. You can see right there on 15. It's not as strong as it was a moment ago. Maybe we're trying to see this weekend, but it's still dangerous. It's still a tornado warning, and I don't want to see it get stronger. I'd like to see it weaken as it's making its way eastward. Again, this is moving at around 50 miles per hour. It is just now exiting the Faulkner-Ripley area. You're now on the back side of this. You're probably still hearing those torrential winds, experiencing the heavy rainfall that goes along with it, and that is now making its way up along Highway 2 and trying to angle towards Kossuth. Let's see, moving towards County Road 600. You can see where 72 is located. So here is our epicenter right now. And it's, again, Kossuth, our friends there, reach out to Kossuth, reach out to Corinth, and let them know we've got some action headed their way. Listen, friends, here's a refresher for you. If you are in one of these polygons, we want to make sure that you are staying safe and that you're in the safe portion of your home. That means not being on an upper stairs or upper level floor. You come down to that bottom floor. You get away from the exterior walls and windows. If you've got an interior room, a hallway closet, a bathroom that's got more structure, and you want to be as close to the center of the house as you can. And again, you will hear us talk about this here all the time. If you're in a mobile home, I know that it can be a lot of work to get out, get up, and get moving, but we want to encourage you to do that. I have been on scene over and over and over after these events, and the first thing that disappears is a mobile home. All right, here's a little bit of an example, a blueprint of what to do. Most of our homes here in the Mid-South don't have a basement. If you do, go there. That's a perfect place. If you don't, stay away from corners and the exterior walls. You want to be on the inside of the home, on the bottom floor, away from windows in case things start getting whipped around, and man, that happens quickly. And if you can, get in, bathroom's a great place, just in the bathtub or with the kids in the closet, make something fun out of it. Get your tablet, your iPad, or your phone and stream us if you can't see the TV or hear us. And let's keep everybody safe. All right, here's some good news. We're seeing our polygon get shortened a bit. So it is now out of the Faulkner-Ripley area. Faulkner, you're on the back side of this, but you can see where we're still showing some indicators here as this is getting closer to Kossuth. And then, of course, if it holds together, Corinth. At the moment, it looks like it's trying to break down a bit, which would be fantastic if we could see it lose a little bit of that rotation. Let me give you a bit of a broader view here. And look, we've got a couple of tornado warnings occurring now in North Alabama as well. Or excuse me, a severe thunderstorm warning and a tornado warning. But this is all part of the system we've been tracking all day. We do have a tornado watch. Starts around Oxford, Lafayette County, moving off to the east. The good news is that the northern portion is not in the tornado watch, but you can tell, as we've said before, these tornadoes, they don't respect those boundaries. They don't really care about where we're drawing the lines, and we draw those lines just to build your awareness, but we know we can have spin-ups just like this one. So if you're just now joining us, we've got a fresh tornado warning here in North Mississippi. It is exiting the Faulkner area, but it's almost to the Kossuth, Corinth region, and just north of that is going to be Raymer, and then north of that is Bethel Springs, just to give you some ideas there of where it's headed. It's headed towards Mickey as well, and you can see lightning strikes in there. No hail. That's been one of the interesting components of this. Hail indicates a very deep storm, towering cumulonimbus with lots of action inside. These, I think, have been a little bit more shallow than that, but that doesn't discount the spin-up happening here. Let's take a look at where we are. Here's the good news. That spin-up is trying to die down a bit, all right? We are losing a little bit of that clear component, but we're not out of the woods just yet. This tornado warning has not dropped off. It's still active, so let's make sure we're still staying aware until we see that completely disseminate or we get the all clear. I want to make sure everybody in Kossuth is paying attention, that you have that place to go to, and you go ahead and you get there thinking, okay, if this will break down and maybe it does weaken, then we can all call the all clear for now. But until that happens, go ahead and be proactive and be safe, and don't let it be the thing you talk about later that I wish I had done. Wish we had gotten away from those windows or found that safe location or got moving out of this mobile home. I don't want you in a mobile home. They're fantastic. I lived part of my young life in one, but you don't want to be inside one when the storm is hitting. All right, friends? So again, tornado warning active. Let's see if I can give you a time on that as well. It is active until 7:30, as you can see right there. The forward momentum of this storm has been at around 50 miles per hour. That's how fast it's traveling. That's pretty quick. Average, as I mentioned earlier, is sometimes 30, 35, 40 miles an hour. So once we get up to 50, it's moving pretty quickly. And it looks now as if it's going to try to go just over Kossuth, but close. You're not all clear, Kossuth. And it's angling towards Guys and Mickey right now. And again, once you've seen a cell show those indicators, they can reinstigate. They can reform. That, you know, if you've been with us for storm coverage, you've watched us have a tornado develop, and it may wax and wane, but then it pops back up as we continue to follow that cell. So anybody in that path, I would be on DEFCON 5 right now. I think that's the highest. Does it go in the other words? Have your antenna up. You know what I mean. Everybody be aware that we've got this brewing out there. This little pocket is harboring what has been some pretty impressive rotation. Again, it's right now trying to exit Faulkner and Ripley. Let's get back to our velocity mode. Does not look as strong. That's a great indicator. Right now, this is looking like it is trying to weaken. We will hope that that holds together, but it is still right in the Kossuth area, southeast of Walnut, and near Faulkner as well. So if you are in this area, get to a safe spot. If you know someone who lives here, please reach out to them and just give them kind of a heads up. Thank you for excusing me while I'm wet the whistle. And we are also very keenly aware of everybody that could be in its path. We're talking about Corinth, Raymer, Mickey moving forward just north of Renzi, Selmer potentially if this decides to hook up to the north just a bit. And there have been several pockets that have looked like this. A little bit brighter reflectivity showing up on this scan, depending on which radar we're picking up. What we're doing is dancing in between different radars, which get a different angle on it. That's why you're seeing the images change just a bit. So you're still looking at the potential for this to have damage to it. All right, friends, so everything is still, all speeds go. We want to make sure that if you're in Kossuth, you are in that safe location, because right now, let's give you a bit of an idea how far this is away from you. This is about, 3.5 miles away. Here's some refreshers for you. A couple of things to remember. Move immediately. We don't want you to sit around and wait on it. If you're anywhere near this, and as I mentioned, stay away from the glass, stay away from the windows, stay away from the exterior walls. Don't go in the corners. Go to the bottom floor of your home, whatever that is. If you get caught outside, I get this question all the time, what are you supposed to do? If you can hear or see that tornado, if you can hear that it's awfully close, if the wind is throwing things around, find a depressed area on the ground, whatever that is, get in it, and cover your head with your hands, okay? So the goal is to be below the level of the ground in a depression, in a dip, a divot, whatever, so that if something were to go tumbling past, it would go over you, and you would not be in that flow of wind, because that's where the deadly events occur, things getting struck or picked up and taken away. All right, friends? So once again, we're watching the threat of a tornado in North Mississippi, showing some rotation here, this green to red. This is now less than 3 miles, the leading edge of it, from Kossuth. That's where I've got my marker there. Let me just go ahead and clear that off for you. So Kossuth, you are very close to this as it's moving through. It's right there where 2 combines with, I think, Highway or County Road 600 coming into the town of Kossuth. And if I change my radar, it does change the appearance just a bit here. But I just want to make sure we're giving that all the attention. That's still there. Okay, even if I switch the radar up, we're still showing some signs. It's not as strong as it was, but it's still there. I'm interested if I use that correlation coefficient I mentioned earlier, which looks at the potential for debris. Well, we're looking at a potential there, these lighter colorations, and heading back towards Faulkner. We're going to keep an eye on that as well. Okay, friends, so we are still watching this tornado-warned zone. This is the northern portion of Tippah County, here on the line between Mississippi and Tennessee. It is right here on the cusp between Tippah and Alcorn. This puts into play Kossuth, as we showed you, Corinth. If it continues, Raymer and Mickey. Even if the tornado warning isn't continued, you're looking at a pretty serious, well-formed storm that will be moving through shortly. And as of this moment, we are watching it go just north of Kossuth. Okay, you're right on the edge of it. And it looks like it's going to head towards Raymer and Eastview as it crosses over from Mississippi. Here's the state line into Tennessee. I want to look at this velocity marker just for a moment. Still showing some signs here. Okay, Kossuth, you can tell that it's right over you. If you're in Kossuth, you can hear those winds. I'm sure you've got the downpours hammering on the top of the house. This is the danger zone until we get the all clear that this has broken apart enough, and it's not too far from Corinth either. Let me give you a bit of a marker for that. The leading edge is about 9 miles from Corinth, so you've got about 10 to 12 minutes before it reaches your vicinity. And if you're in Eastview, let me give you an idea if this goes a little further north. 12 miles, we're looking at 15 minutes to Eastview. That's going to put the same thing roughly for Raymer and Mickey. On average, 10 to 15 minutes lead time to get everything sort of lined up, tell the kids, hey, let's pay attention. We've got some heavy-duty rain and some rotation headed our way. And where would we go? Let's just have a brief conversation. Where's a safe spot in the house to go? You know, take the iPads, take the books, take the flashlights just in case something happens, you lose power. You have a way to stream some information. And you can see we're still showing some pretty decent rotation right there. This is just outside of Kossuth, trying to get into Corinth, all right? And what you're watching as I go back and forth here is the radar's changing, which gives us a little bit of a different angle on that reflectivity. So we are extremely concerned as this is beginning to exit that polygon, not completely through yet. A good indicator is as of so far, the National Weather Service agrees that it may be weakening and they have not extended that tornado warning. If that's the case, then when this is actually, when we reach, let's see what time, 7:30, which is still 9 minutes away, if it doesn't happen sooner, they'll allow that to expire. That potentially will potentially happen sooner because this thing is moving pretty quickly. It's now moving at 55 miles per hour. So it has picked up the speed just a bit. As I mentioned, 50 miles per hour is already fast. It's now going a little bit faster. It's picked up the momentum. It's going to be in the Corinth area in just a few minutes, as you can see. And then on to Guys and Mickey and Stantonville. So our tornado warned cell, and we're going to talk about this one right here. That's it. Is about to cross over from Mississippi into Tennessee. It's heading more towards middle Tennessee right now, angling through McNairy County as it's going through the top of Alcorn. So McNairy County, you're on standby as we get this system going forward. It's almost through our warned area, which means we should be getting a good update. That rotation is not looking as impressive, which is good to see. You can see how it flares very bright and looked very cohesive. And now it's just outside of Kossuth, not completely gone yet. All right, well, actually, this rotation has got it coming through Kossuth right now. Not done yet. I was focusing on this part. You still have action coming through there, and it will be in the Corinth region here in the next couple of minutes. That's going to happen very, very soon. All right, getting word that we are about to see this clear, which looks like it should be the case. Let's get back to our radar here for a moment and give you sort of the overview. All right, you can see we have 2 tornado warnings right now, North Mississippi, North Alabama, all part of this larger system. Still a lot of energy out there. This is the cold front pushing in. It's not here yet because temperatures at Memphis International are still almost 60 degrees. They have dropped, but they're not cold yet, so we still have a lot of energy, and we've got more rain on the way. If you were with us earlier this evening, we are going into a winter storm warning for some of our counties north of Memphis tomorrow, and a winter weather advisory, which means that with more rain moving in and the temperatures dropping, we are likely going to see freezing rain for some of our northern counties. And I'm talking about anybody up near that Dyer County, Jonesboro, Missouri, Boot Hill region. You need to be on full awareness tomorrow afternoon, evening, as the rain and the cold combine and may make things very problematic again. We are, again, watching this North Mississippi corridor closely. I believe I have learned that this tornado warning will expire very soon. We're going to take one more look and see exactly how the velocity looks here. All right, that has diminished. I think our risk is out of there, and it has not been forwarded. So, friends, it is 7:24. I apologize for the program that we covered up, but we will always make this choice to keep you safe. Ongoing issues, it's not done yet. We still have a tornado watch that goes until midnight, and we are working on your forecast for Fox 13 News at 9. Again, we are going to stay on top of this. I will be posting online, keeping you up to speed, and we will see you with all the freshest information in just about an hour and a half on Fox 13 News at 9. We now